honorable members of Parliament, distinguished officials from government departments and agencies, representatives of provincial administrators, development partners, contractors, civil society, and members of the media. The Connect PNG program is one of the most ambitious national infrastructure initiative undertaken since independence. Dispersed population, limited transport connectivity, high cost of doing business and delivering service. For many of our citizens, isolation has meant 1, high food and transport cost, 2, limited access to health, education, and markets, 3, reduced economic opportunities. Connect PNG was designed to address this reality by connecting provinces, districts, and communities through a national road network. 2, completing missing links that isolate people and suppress economic activity. 3, reducing travel time and transport costs. 4, unlocking agriculture, commerce, investment, and employment. In simple terms, roads are not just infrastructure. They are economic enablers, social connectors, and foundation for national unity. The Public Accounts Committee is mandated by Parliament to 1, examine the use of public funds, 2, promote accountability and transparency, and 3, ensure value for money in public expenditure. The PAC does not implement projects, nor does it manage government programs. Our role is to provide independent oversight on behalf of Parliament and the people. Given the scale, cost, and long-term importance of Connect PNG program, parliamentary oversight is both necessary and appropriate. The purpose of this inquiry is to better understand how the Connect PNG program is being implemented and to identify areas where systems, process, and coordination can be strengthened. The inquiry will focus on implementation, bottlenecks and delays, procurement process and contract management, wastage, inefficiency and leakage, systemic and administrative weaknesses, coordination between implementing agencies and monitoring and evaluation system. Our objective is to ensure that public funds deliver real, durable infrastructure, projects achieve their intended economic and social objectives. The program provides value for money to the nation. It is important to clearly state that this inquiry is not a criminal investigation. It is not a prosecution exercise. It is not intended to single out or punish individuals or departments. Rather, it is an opportunity to identify genuine implementation challenges, understand systemic weaknesses, and recommend practical reforms. The committee recognized the complexity of delivering infrastructure in Papua New Guinea and acknowledged the efforts of many public servants, engineers, and contractors working under difficult conditions. The findings from this inquiry will be 1, compiled into a formal public accounts report, and 2, tabled in Parliament. The report will contain identify weaknesses and shortcomings, analysis of root cause, and clear practical recommendations. These recommendations will aim to improve project design and appraisal, strengthen procurement and contract oversight, reduce wastage and leakage, enhance interagency coordination, strengthen monitoring and evaluation system. The ultimate goal is to systematically improve the performance of the Connect PNG program so that it delivers its full national development priorities. This inquiry is not about politics. It is about protecting the public interest. It is about ensuring that the Department of Works and Highways complies fully with the Connect PNG Implementation and Funding Arrangement Act of 2021, which was passed by Parliament to ensure that the Connect PNG program is implemented strictly in accordance with the law, with full transparency, accountability, and compliance with approved procurement and financial management process. This sector framework is reinforced by the Road Management and Fund Act 2020, which was enacted to solve long-standing governance failures in the road sector, including unclear legal authority, weak oversight, and fragmented delivery arrangement. It is about ensuring that every kina spent under the Connect PNG program deliver real roads, improve access and opportunity, enhance economic social outcomes. The Public Accounts Committee looks forward to full cooperation and honest engagement of all stakeholders, so that together we can strengthen a national program that is too important to fail and ensure that Connect PNG truly connects Papua New Guinea. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the Public Accounts Committee. I want to acknowledge and thank the departmental heads, executives who have responded favorably to the invitations to cooperate and furnish information to the Public Accounts Committee and its hearings in respect of the Connect PNG program. So I thank you all and acknowledge your presence this morning. Thank the media and everybody else in the State Function Room this morning. I adopt and endorse the remarks of the Chairman this morning, but also highlight for our purposes Section 216 of the Constitution, which establishes, sets out the functions of the committee. Amongst other things, the primary function of the Public Accounts Committee, and is in accordance with an Act of Parliament, which is the Public Finance Management Act, to examine and report to the Parliament on the public accounts of Papua New Guinea and on the control of and on transactions with or concerning public monies and property of Papua New Guinea. It then goes further to say on subsection 2, subsection 1 extends to any accounts, finances, and property that are subject to inspection and audit by the Auditor General under section 214.2, functions of the Auditor General, and to reports by the Auditor General under that subsection or section 2143. Finally, as an Act of Parliament may extend and may provide in more detail for the functions of the committee under subsection 1 and 2, and may confer on the committee additional functions and duties not inconsistent with the performance or the functions and duties conferred and imposed by those subsections. I think at this juncture, with the permission of the Chairman, I will extend the opening of this hearings, and I think the appropriate format to commence from is for the committee to gain a full appreciation and understanding of the legal framework of the implementation of this program, the Connect PNG program. So I think we have the State Solicitor in the room. Perhaps he could lead us, and if there is any questions from the members of the committee and supplemented by the Secretary Holemba, and I see former secretary and now secretary for national or CEO for National Monitoring and Implementation Authority could supplement. Mr. Rapagare, are you able to give us some remarks in relation to, I think, if we, before we do, I will, I think, pause at this juncture, and I think we'll do this simultaneously with the assistance of the attendees to have each of the secretaries and those present this morning to swear. And I think you have scripts before you. So I think if you can all rise, place your right hand on the Bible, and in unison, you may read out where, I think you say I, yeah? Yeah. They read together and say your name and continue together.
Evidence I shall give on these examinations shall be truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Rapagre, you can remain seated, and for your comfort, you may take a while to address the committee this morning in case.
Thank you, Chairman. Let me firstly acknowledge the committee members, Deputy Chairman. Thank you, Deputy Chair, and acknowledge the Chairman and the members of the Parliamentary Accounts Committee. Chairman, before I go into the issue, can I just ask the committee or get clarification from committee? As I understand, there's a Supreme Court reference on food, and whether I haven't seen the reference or the questions, but just to making sure that I'm not answering or committee is not asking me any questions that are posed before the court. So I just wanted clarification from the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Rapagre. There is a matter before the court on a civil interpretation, but the Public Accounts Committee is not a stop, nor is it, there is no court order restraining or injuncting any hearings of that matter in relation to the Public Accounts Committee. And the Constitution override is supreme, so we will exercise the provisions and take yield of them.
I thought that it might be sub judice. So
No, there is nothing sub judice.
Thank you. Chairman, if I may get the Deputy Chair to ask me that question again so that I can...
Thank you. Can you, Solicitor, can you, for the sake of the inquiry, for our purposes, highlight what the legal framework of the Connect PNG program is? What legislations does this program operate?
Chairman, as I understand this, the Road Fund Management Act and the Connect PNG Act that passed by Parliament, and this is for purposes of budgetary allocations for the Connect PNG program. But Chairman, there's also, I mean, generally overall the parliamentary, the appropriations laws that Parliament passed from year to year, where it also allocates funding for the purpose of Connect PNG. And so those are the laws that when it comes to implementation, those are the laws that the bureaucracy or the public service, including my office, consider when implementing the projects or decisions by cabinet on certain projects under Connect PNG.
On 14th of January 2021, the Road Management and Fund Act was certified after having been passed as matter number 41 of 2020 of Parliament. Is that correct?
Correct.
So that is the leading legislation that intended to underpins this PNG Connect program. Yes?
Yes.
Number 18 of 2021, a matter of Parliament, on the notice paper, passed Connect PNG Implementation and Funding Arrangements Act 2021, certified on the 22nd of December 2021. Do you agree?
Yes.
The first piece of legislation, Road Management and Fund Act 2020, amongst other things, is developed to address a number of critical issues, they say. But it's an act to make provision for government management of roads, including those that come under the provincial governments and LLGs, and for related purposes. And the objectives are set out there. It's quite a lengthy list, but for our purposes, implements a new contemporary road management system based on a clear demarcation between road sector policy and regulatory roles, the road operational management role, traffic management role, and the road management funding role. So, subsection 2 of section 1 sets out the very exhaustive list there. Then, and it's quite a lengthy, long establishment under that provision, law. But it sets out, I believe, and you can jump in, and I think, Mr. Weller, you are at liberty to assist. Huh? Can you speak? Are you familiar with this legislation?
Yes, I am. I was the one with the team that put together those legislations in order to reform the functions and mandate performance of Works Department in driving the Connect PNG program.
Yes. What can you tell us? One of the same main features of that act.
The two main features you find in these two acts. One was to upgrade.
Yes.
Upgrade the from 1973 National Road Maintenance Act to something modern. So we amended, or we override with a legislative reform to create the Road Management and Fund Act. In the Road Management and Fund Act, we try to separate the program management and the fund management, seeing that sometimes when we put both the funding and the road management together, there are issues. So in order to deal with those issues, we try and separate the fund management, which with the abolition of the National Road Authority, we created the fund. So we created a fund, road fund, with a board to oversee the fund, but it mainly for the maintenance fund management board.
Do you have a copy of the act with you?
I don't have it, but I can recall very well what I did.
Yes.
With the lawyers, and went through the process to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the road management was also, Road Management Act was also very important to drive the Connect PNG program, which was specific to about 16,200 kilometers. That was important for the economic growth of the country. Connect PNG really is about developing roads that are important to growing the economy, including 2,000 kilometers of missing links. The Vision 2050 talks about creating 21,000 kilometers of new roads, but we saw that funding was not enough. So within the size of the economy and the slice we get every year from the budget, we try to remain realistic in our planning. So we allow for the 5.6% annual budget, which comes under the Road Appropriation Act. Because seeing that funding, guaranteed long-term funding, was a big issue as well. The demand for maintenance, the demand for building new roads was also big. So we try to be realistic in our targets for the medium term as well as the 20-year program life of this Connect PNG. So the appropriation act for Connect PNG it's only appropriation act that's passed by the parliament. At the same time as the state also is saying, the budgets are also passed by the parliament. So sometimes the budget is not sometimes, but all of the time that when the Connect PNG Appropriation Act came into effect in 2020. Only in 2020 the Connect PNG Fund Arrangement and Management Act came into effect. So trying to get the full ceiling that's in the budget has always been a problem. So you will see in our reports, I think it's stated very clearly that in our reports from 2019 to 2020, 23, we had a shortfall of about 2 billion kina. That could not meet the required funding level in the 5.6% as given by the parliament. So
yeah, no, thank you. Just before, very useful information. Do you by any chance have a write-up or?
I got a full report here. I think the 2023 report that was presented at the parliament captures everything. To my honest view, was the report that captures all the contracts, how much we have done. Later when I left, I think the secretary is here, so he picked up from there to write up the reports for 2024 and 2025 last year. But for the last 5 years, we have the report here. So
All right.
I got copies here. If you
Yes.
want
if
me
you
to
can,
distribute, we can
the
distribute the
attendants
copies.
can receive those on behalf of the committee.
Yeah, this was presented by my late minister, our late minister, to the parliament in the 2023, 2024, early 2024 sitting.
Yes.
So we can distribute this.
So, Mr. Wera and Secretary, jump in when you can. Section 28 establishes the board.
Yes.
There is hereby established a PNG Road Fund Board, which shall, subject to this Act, be responsible for the policy, control, and management of the PNG Road Fund. The PNG Road Fund, we'll come back to that to explain. Section 29 then sets out the members of the board. They are departmental head of the department responsible for finance, ex officio or his nominee, departmental head of the department responsible for transport, ex officio or his nominee, who shall be deputy chairperson of the board, the departmental head of the department responsible for national planning, ex officio or his nominee, the departmental head of the department responsible for roads, the departmental head of the department responsible for treasury, the state solicitor, chief executive officer of the Road Traffic Authority. Is the Road Traffic Authority still in existence?
Yes.
The CEO, one independent member nominated by the Road Transport Authority Association, one independent member nominated by the Papua New Guinea Chamber of Mines and Petroleum or any successor body. Has this committee or board ever met?
So, Deputy Chair and Chairman, as the members of the Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Public Accounts. On behalf of my department, I have my full staff here. As per request, I've brought in all the engineers right across the province, including all the works managers and regional managers, as per your notice to us. Coming back to the Deputy Chair's question in relation to the two legislations. One is in relation to the Road Maintenance and Management Fund Act of 2020.
I want to just zero in. I want
Yes.
to ask, has this board ever met?
That board is in function at the moment. The trust board is in place, yes.
When you say in function, what does that mean?
Meaning they have met and they're continuing to meet.
Do you have official minutes of that board?
Correct. The chairman is here. The chairman is the Secretary of Finance.
Do you have minutes of those meetings?
Yes,
Can you
Yeah.
finish the committee copies of those minutes?
sure enough. We'll finish the.
When was the first meeting this board ever had?
The board had on the 2022 when it was sworn in. By
Right.
then the Minister Nali was
And yes, in 2022 it was sworn in.
Yes.
Did it meet after that?
correct. That time Secretary Ware was in office, so they met after that. Yes,
How often do you meet?
every quarter.
Every quarter, it's in the law when we should meet, when the board should meet. Yeah, it's in the law where when we should meet, and everyone sitting here is the board member of the road fund, the state soul, the treasury secretary, planning secretary.
So when you meet,
Finance is the chairman.
do you keep minutes of those meetings?
Sure, we keep minutes.
Will you be giving
There
a
is a secretariat that runs the road fund with a CEO, so we do keep minutes of that board meetings.
Thank you. I would like copies of all the minutes of that board's meetings.
Sure, we will.
Can you finish them today?
Yes, we, Gibson.
By lunchtime, if you can get one of your staff to compile and hand into the secretariat.
Gibson can organize with the CEO and provide those. The chairman is here, so Secretary for Finance will organize those meeting minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Now, I want to talk about the fund. How was the fund established?
All right, Deputy Chair and the Chairman and the esteemed members, there's two different legislations we are discussing in this particular discussion. There's one on the Road Management and Fund Act, which is we are discussing the trust fund. That trust fund is coming from the fuel levies, fuel levies generated out of the excise tax. That is totally nothing to do with Connect PNG fund. Connect PNG fund is a development fund coming from the budgetary allocations. So the board that you are referring to manages that FOTOYA levy that comes in through IRC and Treasury. The Connect PNG fund has no oversight on this with the board. So the Connect PNG Act is talking about a capital fund coming through budgetary allocations. So in that regard, the board has no oversight on that allocation.
Can you educate us on the legal basis for that statement you just made about the board's powers that don't cover Connect PNG?
Well, the Connect PNG Act legislates to 5.6%, which every year annually there's a budget allocation. That comes through budgetary process, which Treasury oversights through Appropriation Act. That comes through the Parliament. So Connect PNG gives mandate to Treasury to allocate fund, and that is the budgetary process which Treasury oversights. That is separate from the trust fund. That operates under the trust arrangement through maintenance fees collected from IRC and customs.
You're not answering my question. Which is the legal basis from which I can rely on for the powers of the board that you say do not include Connect PNG? That they are not the oversight mechanism.
Yeah, what I'm saying is there is no trust account for Connect PNG, where that Connect PNG funding is set up. The board oversights on the trust of the maintenance fund.
So you are saying that Connect PNG Implementation and Funding Arrangements Act is exclusive to itself, and that should not be confused by the mechanisms under this Road Management Fund Act.
Yes, there are two different separate trust accounts. One is the maintenance trust, one is the development trust. Connect PNG Act relates to Development Trust. The Road Management Act relates to the Maintenance Trust.
PNG Road Fund Board deals with only maintenance, not capital works. But it's referenced in this Connect PNG Act, Implementation and Funding and Arrangements Act. What do you say to that?
From my view, the maintenance, the board composition of the PNG Road Fund has no oversight on the capital fund, because the makeup and the composition of the fund, the board, is not in line to the current project steering oversight committee that is within the current framework, which oversights and reports back to the CACC and through cabinet. So I might allow Secretary and State Sol to maybe make some comment on this one.
Section 7 says, all payments from Connect PNG Development Trust Fund, which is the fund you're referring to, being 5.6% of annual budget. Correct?
Yes,
Capital Works Fund,
correct.
right? Shall only be approved, mandatory, only be approved by the PNG Road Fund Board. Is this the one and the same PNG Road Fund Board referred to in Section 28 of the Road Management and Funding Act?
We were at the stage where we were trying to amend that particular.
Mr. Were,
in
Mr.
order
Were,
to-
wait,
Yeah,
I'm talking. This is the law passed
Yes.
by Parliament.
yes.
This is the Parliament part of it. Section 7 says, and I've been told by Mr. Hollenbach that this does not, PNG Road Fund Board does not deal with the Connect PNG Fund,
Sure,
correct?
that's true.
Well, the law says it should, it does.
Yes,
It is mandatory. All payments from the Connect PNG Development Trust Fund shall, not may, shall, State Solicitor sits next to you. Ask him what that means. Only be approved by the PNG Road Fund Board. 4. A. Expenditure incurred or to be incurred in the construction, improvement, extension, enlargement and replacement of works, and the provision, acquisition, replacement of other capital assets required in the respect of or in connection with the Connect PNG program. B. The acquisition of land and of any right or interest in or over land in connection to the implementation of the Connect PNG program, etc., etc.
So
Do you agree that the Connect PNG Road Fund Board is responsible for the disbursement of funds out of the Connect PNG Trust Fund?
Deputy Chairman, yes. Initially, we were working on the road maintenance fund only, which is the 6% that comes from the fuel levy. We had to make an amendment to the.
You have not made the amendment. That's not your the mandate.
But
Mandate is of the
how
Parliament.
how do we? The Parliament is mandated to allocate
Well,
funds.
the law is this.
So there has to be a provision where capital works funds that goes to the directly to works now must be directed into the road fund. So that's the amendment we were working
You
on.
have not done it.
We haven't.
yeah, Deputy Chair, if I may intercept on this one. If you look at Section 7 of the Connect PNG Act, it reads all payments from the Connect PNG Development Trust Fund.
Yes.
There is no trust fund established.
Oh,
So there is one board.
you said it's to set up.
Okay, there's one board oversighting on two different trust accounts.
So there's no trust fund.
No trust fund
The one,
established.
sorry, the one
The
under
board,
section.
the board oversights on two different trusts. So there, unless there is a Connect PNG Development Trust, then the same board oversights on it. As it is now, technically there is no trust account, a fund that they oversight. Because the allocation of the Connect PNG fund comes to Agency Code 264, which Secretary for Works is the Section 32 officer. He is the accountable officer under the Appropriation Act
Thank you.
and the PFLA.
Secretary.
So that's basically
Secretary.
why is that?
Secretary, so Section 3 says, subject to Department of Treasury's economic and budgetary forecasts, the state shall commit a minimum funding level of 5 6/10%, which is 5.6%, of the annual national budget for each year of the Connect PNG program. but the total aggregate amount shall not exceed 20 billion for the life of the Connect PNG program. The life of the Connect PNG program is 20 years, commencing from when? 2019, 2020 to 2040. So this is Connect PNG minimum funding by the state. I mean, that doesn't stop it from borrowing. Subject to Department of Treasury's economic and budgetary forecast, the state may, from time to time, in accordance with Loans Securities Act, Loans Assistance International Agencies Act, and Loans Overseas Borrowings Act, borrow monies for the financing of the Connect PNG program on such terms and conditions as approved by the head of the state. Before we continue further, I want to be very clear. I want us to be clear from here and from that table also. We're talking about Connect PNG Development Trust Fund. That's not this fund that is referred to. Secretary, you was illustrating earlier.
Deputy, what I'm trying to explain to you is that the maintenance trust has a trust account and there's funding in there, which the board oversights. The Connect PNG Trust, there is no trust account facility, where the Connect PNG money goes and sit in there where the board can oversight. So by the technicality of the law, the budgetary process allocates it to Department of Works under Agency Code 264, which the departmental head oversights. Also, there's no funding in there where the board can make a decision, unless we establish the trust account and we direct the Connect PNG money into the trust account. Then the board makes the decision. Right now, I'm the accountable officer. The secretary makes the accountable officer to report back to Parliament and to Cabinet on the expenditure of the fund.
Secretary, may I intervene here? What is the cause of the delay in establishing the trust fund? What's the cause? Parliament has passed that, legislated that in 2021, and why you gentlemen sitting before us cannot establish that fund?
When I took office, I'll allow my predecessor to make comments in relation to the delay in the establishment. But in taking office, I did a midterm review, and those are the findings I had presented to Cabinet to make a decision for us to establish trust facilities.
Would you agree with me that it is a breach of the Act?
That is subject to discussion at the moment with what is in court, because I did a NEC submission for us to go through the oversight process.
So there's no compliance, huh?
There is no establishment of the trust account at this stage, but we are in the process of establishing the trust account, so we can have an oversight body looking at the funding.
So we have Connect PNG that has been operating for
5 years.
5 years now, and all the contracts that were awarded not through the trust account that is been discussed now. So where are the funds coming from?
They're coming from the budgetary process.
So would that be would you agree with me that that is illegal?
It's not.
It's not, because it's coming through Appropriation Act. There's a different law applies to that allocation, because that's a process.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you. But those funds are supposed to be directed into this trust account that is being discussed now, because that is what the Act says. And we have the state so seated here before us, and is a member of this board as well. And so we are trying to establish the legality of the Connect PNG. And Connect PNG is very clearly stipulated in the Act of 2021 that the trust account must be established. You cannot be operating outside of the trust account.
That's the question.
And that is where we are coming from. That's where we're coming from. I think the chairman, Secretary for Finance, can help us out here as chairman, and you, the board members who are seated here. We need to establish the reasons why the trust account was not established. Is it so much of a rocket science that we cannot do it? Or is it just an oversight by the board? And if it's an oversight by the board, then we have to be very careful that the legality of running this program, we're talking about billions of kina. We're not talking about thousands. We're talking about billions of kina that is going into this program. And compliance is very, very important.
Yes, I think it's important that we establish that trust fund going forward. That's the requirement of law. And as you all may know, it's the Minister for Finance, but based on documentations from the relevant government agencies. So Minister for Finance is the authorized person to establish trust accounts for the government purposes, and that, as I've said, that's important that we do that after this. But
As the chief legal advisor to the government and to this board, have you discussed this at your level, at the board level, that the establishment of this trust account is important and paramount to the operation of Connect PNG?
so we have discussed, and we noted what the legislation says, but we did not go further to establishing it.
So 5 years you've been discussing it and nothing has been done?
It's not that nothing has been done, but there may be intervening factors, and Secretary for Works alluded to this, that he prepared a submission, but there were some intervening factors that he didn't proceed on with that.
Secretary for Works, if I may ask, that when we reconvene, that you advise through the chair and deputy chair, that you advise us what is the cause of the delay. Because Papua New Guinea needs to know that there are billions of kina being invested into road construction. It's not going through another account to operate before it comes here. We don't want third-party accounts. We want to operate this Connect PNG in its own trust account. By law, that's what is before me, and that's why I put it to you as chief legal advisor to the government and the country, that the establishment, you would agree with me that the establishment of the trust account is very important.
Correct. And then, if I may add, in the absence of that, and as the Secretary for Works has said, he is implementing the Connect PNG program by operation of the budgetary allocations through approved by Parliament, and Treasury allocates directly to Works department under his vote, and so he's implementing that as a Section 32 officer.
Very good. I do agree with you, but let me just get us further to that. Budgetary allocations by Parliament must happen, but when those funds leave Treasury, they cannot be operated in another account, not even by himself. The Act says it very, very clearly that it has to be through the board. Any project that is established or awarded through the national procurement, after it is awarded, after the successful bidder has been awarded a contract, the funding has to come through that trust account, not through the Treasury's discretion. Sorry, Works Secretary's discretion. And that is what we're trying to establish today. Like I said, it's not something where you may caught in each other. But Papua New Guinea needs these answers. It needs these answers. And you, the board member seated before me, for 5 years have failed to create this animal or this account where Ogra money people Parliament passing, because we want this program. Let me tell you, we want this program. Papua New Guinea wants this program, but when the money is approved by Parliament, it must go through this trust account. Sorry, Deputy Chair.
Committee member, your concern that you raise is very valid. What I was referring to, the amendment on the NEC submission I did was, if you look at the composition of the board, the trust board is made up of independent bodies that are from the Public Transport Association, including even Chamber of Commerce. The oversight body onto the capital board is by someone who is not supposed to be within that board structure. So what I did on the NEC submission, is to correct that board composition. That we need to amend that board composition. There will be two separate boards. The road fund board cannot oversight same on the Connect PNG board.
Yes.
We have to have a different board that should set up to also oversight on the capital trust and and maintenance trust.
So that's not
So
the,
that amendment will now effect to us to establish so that we have an oversight body in place. Right now,
Secretary.
the current legislation
Secretary, excuse me,
has
Secretary.
something to
I know
to
it's
fix.
quite exciting, but if you just slow down a bit for the purposes for the sake of our recording as well. Section 6 of the Act. This is the law that is prevailing as we speak.
Correct.
A trust fund to be known as a Connect PNG Development Trust Fund. So I'm agreeing with you. Is hereby established in accordance with the Public Finance Management Act and shall vest in the PNG Road Fund. We are on the same page to say that this fund has not been set up yet, correct?
Correct.
This fund was to be set up hereby. It means from the moment the Speaker put the gavel on the down to pass the bill at the time in 2020, 2021 is certified. That fund ought to have been set up, correct? But it has not been set up, notwithstanding the express mandate of law, expression of law, correct?
Yes.
So the Connect PNG program is being funded outside of the intent and express provisions of law, correct?
Not
Yes.
not at this stage because
Yeah.
it's complying to the Appropriation Act
No,
by Parliament.
that's not for you to say. You can't be judge and jury. You can't determine what is right and what is wrong. I'm telling you, I'm trying to inquire here. So in fact, as a matter of fact and law, we are implementing the Connect PNG program in the absence of the Connect PNG Development Trust Fund, correct? Maybe I should put it that way. Okay. How much of public monies have we spent in this process since 2020? Do you have a spreadsheet before you can share with us?
As per my report to your esteemed office through the office of the chairman, we've submitted to you almost 4.5 billion kina. That's on the 2024 report that I submitted to the chairman's office on the 28th of March of 2025.
Do you have a quantification of contract values from 2020 under this program to date?
From the report that I submitted, the total number of contracts from 2025 appropriation, if you look at the paragraph 5 on my report, we've expended almost under the Connect PNG program 1.4 billion from the allocations that we've expended. The total number of running contract value was 3 billion at the time of my report. From page 2 of my report that I submitted through the chairman's office.
Yes.
And the total, if you look at the summary on my last letter, on the last page of my letter to the chairman's office, you could see that the total running contract value at the time of my report was 5.9 billion. Total paid was 1.8. The outstanding balance was 4.8. That's as per my report on the 25th of March last year.
But those figures will have changed since then.
Correct.
You didn't have see the need to update it before coming
No,
here.
I have my full 2012 5-year report that I published to cabinet right here with me.
You to cabinet, huh?
Yes.
You will furnish one to us, and you can speak.
Sure enough.
You are at liberty to speak to it. You can tell us what it says.
I have the annual performance, 2024 annual performance report that was already presented to Parliament by our late minister, and the half-year report that we published to cabinet on the Connect PNG program alone. Apart from other maintenance programs we conduct for the road maintenance activities, a total of sorry. So for Connect PNG alone, Highlands Corridor, Appropriation last year was 100 million. Bumase corridor 100 million, New Britain corridor 100 million, Southern corridor 100 million, transnational 100 million Guinness. And to this report that we've finished to the Parliament, to Cabinet, we've procured almost up to 7.4 billion kina worth of works. That's of the phase 1 program.
It's nice, very nice, good report. It's good. I can't get around the fact that it's all done without the trust fund that Parliament passed, and some legal opinion is such that Public Finance Management Act could cure that. Appropriation Bill successive years could cure that. But then the law is also expressed that no funding, no expenditure shall be made without the approval of the PNG Road Fund Board in relation to expenditure connected to the Connect PNG program. Do you agree that this is a bit of a problem? A legal problem? If the people in the high offices belittle law, how do we expect our average moms and dads on the street to comply with law? We have a serious law and order problem in this country. And if compliance from government officials is belittled and it's really something, that should be a serious concern for all of us. Section 9 says, for the avoidance of doubt, no funds shall be dispersed against the Connect PNG program. So you have a program called the Connect PNG program, but you're spending funds without the approval of this board, Road Fund Board. Correct? Is that correct?
It's not correct because we are implementing it according to the Appropriation Act.
Again, I said, Appropriation Act covers a very holistic approach. But Parliament passed these laws, these two.
Correct.
So you would, after appropriation, in my mind,
correct. I agree with you in setting up the
you have
trust
to
account.
put it to the fund, so it's protected. You do not have a shortfall situation of 5.8 billion in contracts against 1.8 billion in actual payments and a variance of 3.2 billion. You don't have that situation. It is to safeguard the situation.
Yes.
So the state is not left at high risk of contractors suing us. Now there's a risk exposure.
Yes.
Correct? Because of belittling of law. There must be some urgency. Set up the account now, today. Because we are continuing to borrow, we are continuing to finance a program because it's not without the protection of law. Practiced outside of the will and whim of the true intent of this law. The former secretary and the advisor at the time saw this as this is a very good way of covering the 16,000. It's for security, project security.
Yes.
It's for project security. So 16,000 kilometers of the roads that you must be secured by actual body. You must touch the money. So contractors are paid. We don't have a situation of signing of contracts and only paying mobilization and then never pay anything else after that. You must not have the situation. This is the intention of this law. We have to understand the policy intent behind prescription at law. I'm not just trying to be a lawyer. What I'm saying is there's a policy reason behind why Section 6 is established, this law is set up.
Correct.
It's for project implementation security. Now you just read out some figures. 5 billion over in contracts that are alive, putting the state at risk. 1.9 billion only paid. The variance is what we will be sitting in court and Section 5 notices are being issued. So for cases to be filed against the state to compel works to pay when you don't have actual money there. So there's even offenses created here under Section 9. Maybe these offenses are not heavy enough. maybe if you do an amendment, we should consider upping these offenses to 1 million or 2 million kina each. 50,000 kina is like, for some of you it's spare change. So bear with me. We're trying to walk through this Act of Parliament. And there's also mention of the National Road Networks, PNG Highway Corporation. Can someone speak to that? Is PNG Highway Corporation is a vision to roll out Connect PNG. Is that correct?
Yes, Deputy Chairman, that's part of the reforms we put together to get the key core road that is important to the country's growth and economy to be separated from the rest of the other road network. Today we still bulging the funds and everything in the same basket. We're sitting here talking about this, so we have to separate. These are time-based program targets we want to achieve. Otherwise, the maintenance backlog and other issues are also growing big, and the cost is so big as well. So it was part of the reforms to separate the big highways that are of economic importance to this country to be under the watch or management of a specific team, and hold that team accountable if anything goes wrong. Today, the whole program is managed under a steering committee. The chairman is the secretary of the planning, transport. It's again the same team here that sits for the capital works funds on the Connect PNG. The maintenance have a separate board, so there's a lot of work to be done to make it.
Is the steering committee referenced in any of these two acts of parliament, under which the Connect PNG program is
yeah, because it's a budgeted fund.
It's an NEC decision. NEC decision 312.
Does NSC decision override this law?
113 and 312 on the establishment of the higher power project steering committee. That is for the program oversight to align. Because
Oversight.
Connect PNG is a multi-sectoral and multimodal. Every sector of each of the government agencies needs to come in and making sure that it's becoming an economic investment program. Agriculture needs to invest when we build roads. So that program is for program coordination. That particular project steering committee to oversight on program management, planning, alignment of entire government process.
So it's more powerful than the PNG Road Fund board?
No. It's an oversight committee for planning purposes.
Or it's a different...
It's per the NEC decision on establishing...
Is it in relation to Connect PNG specific or...?
Correct.
Chairman, it's a steering committee to oversee the Connect PNG program.
No, that's not what's said in these two acts.
In the legislation, it's not mentioned, but because it's a budgeted fund through the budget process.
No.
We have to.
This is where we have to draw the line.
Sure, I agree with you.
Policy is NEC's policy. This is law.
I
If there is no law in this country, no rule of law, then what are we doing here?
Yeah, Chairman, Deputy Chairman, I agree with you. There is a need to separate what is a Connect PNG and other roads. We need to separate this and banish him good. And people agree. So we can start that quickly, get the NEC and get the process rolling. I agree with you. There are lots of issues to deal with, so we need to specifically...
There's a lot of non-compliance is what the problem is.
Yes.
There are two different between the board and the project steering committee. Project steering committee is lower than the board. The board is on the higher level legislated by Act. Project steering committee is for coordination purposes, for planning purposes on the Connect PNG, aligning with the government programs, not just Connect PNG roads only. Agriculture sector, ports, airports, seaports.
Chairman, I can probably come in, Chairman and the Deputy Chairman. I'm the Chairman of the Connect PNG high-level project steering committee. It's just an oversight committee that we have set up as per the NECDs in 113/20 to provide an oversight on the Connect PNG program, and the committee has been meeting since the inception of this particular program. Committee does not have the legal powers to make decisions on the financial
transactions. So it's just a corporate, it's a statutory requirements that this particular oversight committee has been set up for, not only for Connect PNG program, but all the other PIB projects that.
Do you have a copy of that NEC decision?
No, I don't have it.
You have a copy? Thank you very much. Because I'm still having great difficulty of accepting this project steering committee could override the board. I'm talking. Section 23 says, the PNG Road Fund is established to oversee the collection, disbursement and monitoring of funds for the maintenance, road safety and rehabilitation of the national road network so that it is available for the passage of persons, vehicles and goods in a safe and efficient manner in order to optimize the contribution of road assets to the economic and social development of Papua New Guinea. I would imagine that this committee, because steering committee, it's the board, it's one of the same people. Why can't, is this not the same person, same mandate, same job?
Chairman, the composition of the Connect PNG steering committee as a broader stakeholders, not very much limited to the board members of the road fund board. We have a wide range of stakeholders in the project steering committee.
And you report to cabinet, not the board?
No, to the minister, respective ministers, particularly Minister of Works.
Chairman, if I think we note and understand the importance of having the trust fund as required by law, and I think the way forward, just given the timing, the way forward now is for us to go back and see what needs to be implemented.
You then agree that whatever has been expended in the past 4 years is illegal, outside of the law?
Deputy, I can't say.
Well, it's outside of the law.
Well, as we maintain from here, it's in accordance with the budget.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that it's in accordance. It cannot be done any other way. Everything that the state expense under Section 209 comes to Parliament. And of course it'll be under the appropriation bill. But then why did we set up these two laws to set up the fund for this program? It is supposed to go, that appropriation bill is the source fund. It's a direct fund or by loan under sections 4 of the other Connect PNG Act.
Deputy Chair, if I may suggest this, that we agree with the committee that the establishment of a trust fund is necessary, and that is what we will do, to establish a trust fund.
When will you do that?
After the hearing, we will work on the papers with the Secretary of Finance and Minister, because that's the process they manage. We will produce those documents that requires for us to establish.
You will set it up today. You will set up the trust fund today.
We will
produce
work
necessary instruments tomorrow.
So.
The Treasury will bring with finance those instruments here tomorrow.
So.
But this, it's established by law, not Parliament.
Right.
Already set up. So you need to produce the instruments. That's what I'm saying. To get him to sign it off. This is Parliament, not Minister. So, State Solicitor, I'm just saying, as a matter of principle, prescriptions are clear, unequivocal for this step-by-step process in the best interest of security of implementation of projects. The Secretary is dealing with a contract management, and while executions are done against appropriation, one must assume money is actually there. The money that's reflected on the contract body is actually there to be paid after mobilization, and then inspections are done, and then you certify and pay as you go along. So when the job's done, contract value is discharged and the state is released. I guess that's the overarching process principle. But It's not just for anything else but security of the entire program. If the program is to survive.
May I ask the steering committee that was established, and you're the chair, secretary. It's just an administrative process, would that be? Coordination. You don't duplicate the role of the board?
No, no, no.
No. Okay, if you don't duplicate the role of the board, would you be another stumbling block to the role of the board?
We are not the stumbling block. Our role is to facilitate, coordinate, and facilitate the implementation of the program, and at the same time resolve any implementation issues.
Are you?
We're not
do you have a
mandated.
budget to that?
We're not mandated to.
The committee, does it have a budget? on the
The
Connect
secretariat
PNG?
is, the secretariat is being provided by planning as well as the Department of Works and Highways.
Okay, through the chairman and deputy chairman, we are very concerned with the establishment of the trust account. And we hear that your board will convene after the meeting here to start preparing the paperwork to establish the trust account. That is very, very important. But I need a guarantee, or this committee, this PAC inquiry would need a guarantee from your board. I'd rather have it in writing that tomorrow it will come. But when can we fully establish this trust account? So government, the budgeted funds should not be floating elsewhere. Compliance of the act is very, very important. You mentioned something that actually got me thinking. You said there is someone that actually prompted you or caused you to amend the act because there is this someone who could be a impediment to the program. Would you be in a position to tell me who this someone is?
What I was referring to, if you look at the board composition of the PNG Road Fund Board, there are the appointed officers on the board, which are not the government officers. They are from the Public Transport Association and from the Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, which are now oversighting on the capital fund. So that board composition is not in a place to oversight on the capital fund coming through the budgetary process. We need to have a government officers oversighting on.
So who gave them the powers to sit in
No,
there?
that's on the board, on that Connect PNG Act. On the Connect PNG Act, which make references to the Road Fund Board, the Road Fund Board's composition has two independent members being appointed. And so if we allow that same board to oversight on the capital fund, the composition of the board is that they are now oversighting on a public fund, which they are private members. They are not public officials, accountable officials.
That is in the act.
So that particular composition of the board has a concern that we need to oversight as well, in terms of how I see it.
Secretary, the amendments started off with Secretary Wera, sorry, CEO Wera now, and it's come to your custody now. It's taken us a while to do those changes. And in the meantime, the board meets once a quarter under the chairmanship of Secretary for Finance. And how comes we haven't moved this agenda until PAC Public Accounts through the chair and deputy chair have picked up this blunder? I am very concerned, state so. I am very concerned that under your watchful eyes, we've allowed this to happen. I think we should not delay any further. The chairman and deputy chair will very soon get us into conclusion, but let me put it to you all that we've allowed this thing to happen at the expense of the people of Papua New Guinea. Yeah. you are held responsible, you all are held responsible for non-compliance of this act. And would you all agree with me that you have failed to uphold the Act 2021 that was passed by Parliament? That number one, you established the board and you've done that. Okay. But you haven't done the money part of it. Money is supposed to be packed into this trust account. And you've given us that guarantee today. I would like to allow the chairman to speak on this. But we must make it happen. Because if we don't make it happen, then we as the board have breached an act that was passed in 2021. And you cannot continue to make this happen under the watchful eyes of you are eminent Papua New Guinean seated before me. You are entrusted by this nation with your appointment to keep money safe and spent according to law. And you have failed to establish this trust account, and you continue to allow monies to be spent outside of an act of Parliament.
Chairman, if I can. It's okay.
Thank you.
Chairman, if I may say something. Secretary, just for your guidance, currently there is no board for the Connect PNG, correct?
No, as per the act, there is board. It's a trust account, not established.
Okay, trust account. But you were mentioning something about a concern that you have on certain individuals being part of the board, the trust fund.
Their appointment is in connection to their nature of business. They're tracking business, and they're also mine, the bulk fuel coming from mine and petroleum. So their representation in that
Can
committee,
somebody give this?
their representative committee is
Secretary, can you?
So if you look at the board composition, the maintenance trust is in relation to the nature of their business. The appointment of a committee from the PNG Transport Association and an appointed member from the PNG Chamber of Mines. Their inclusion in the board is because of the nature of the business. They are trucking businesses, and they are people who are now bringing in fuel and petroleum products. That's why they're included. This is a Connect PNG board. Their function of, their duty is totally separate from that function of how they make up the board. I'm understanding from me, I'm an engineer, I'm not a lawyer. But this is how I understand. That for them to make a decision on the expenditure of Connect PNG fund, their nature of business doesn't relate to the expenditure of that public money under the appropriation. So when I took office in 24, we did an NEC submission to amend the board composition. But now that the Supreme Court reference is there, it's now put a stop to us making an amendment to the law until the Supreme Court reference is dealt with. Then we can make an amendment to make sure we have a separate board with a trust account, and we have a maintenance board, a road fund board, only oversighting on the maintenance trust. So we don't have one board trying to make decision on two different accounts. So for a better accountability and compliance processes. Right now you have one board trying to administer two different accounts.
Sure. Okay, but my confusion is, an advice was made to the parliamentarians at the time, and both acts were passed, which includes those persons that you are now trying to get rid of. So therein lies my dilemma. A proper wisdom should have been applied, which you're trying to apply now. So we really need to look at the inconsistencies and fix them, because the law is very, so we need to work together because you're giving us some good wisdom into that, but the law is law, and we really need to try and hurry up and establish the trust fund, and if changes need to be done, we as public accounts, we also need to be told as to the reasons why. Thank you.
Chair and Deputy, sorry, I'd like to come in relation to setting up the trust. I note the process that we didn't take into account. So what we'll do, your instruction, Deputy Chair, maybe too soon, cannot be able to come tomorrow. So I ask if I can be able to work that process until Friday. Definitely you'll get it. Let me work the process. It's not just straightforward that I come back to you. I'll have to get the paperwork done, push it through the system and then come back to you. So we'll work that process. I'll await instructions from Works to start up that process. Maybe it's an oversight that we have not done so. Happy to work that process and get that thing corrected, and let's move in the direction according to law. Thank you.
Just before we, I think Chairman, perhaps the good member for Rabaul might have any questions. Just finally then, Secretary, did you intimate that you were bringing to through your minister some amendments you want to make? When do you think those amendments might come?
The amendments is on hold because of the Supreme Court reference on the Connect PNG Act. Because the amendments was for Connect PNG Act and the Road Fund Act, the Road Management Act. Because both of them are interrelated. We wanted to amend the composition of the board in oversighting on those two different accounts.
Let me clarify. The Supreme Court case, or the case before the court, does not deal with stopping the invalidating law or anything. I think it's more of understanding compliance. So I don't think anything stops you. Maybe you should graduate from that mindset.
Sure.
While you do that, I want to ask also, in the presence of State Solicitor, in the Road Management and Fund Act, statutory body is expressed here. It says, has the meaning given to it by or under the Public Finance Management Act 1995. Did they actually do the cross-reference? Because under the Public Finance Management Act, there is no reference to statutory body. Maybe tidy up those ones as well, if you're going to do that.
Deputy Chairman, I'm sure that's been done, but we'll check on that one. I think the relevant legislations have been amended to give meaning to statutory bodies, but we'll check on that.
Thank you.
You are all senior advisors to the government, and I want to ask the State Sol particularly. You are the one responsible for clearing all the contracts that were going out. What makes you to just blindly clear the contracts when you know that the act, we haven't fulfilled the act? And why can't you advise the government to put on hold in all the spendings that we've been doing since 2021? I mean, Secretary Works was telling us that because it's budgeted for, you want to spend. And I personally, the committee here thinks, you don't have to spend when the legal framework is not right. The governance process or structure is not there. You can't just blindly clear all the contracts that are going out. Can you explain that, please?
Thank you. And Chairman, I think I maybe the honourable member can use the other word, but not blindly clearing the contracts. I don't blindly clear the contracts. There's a process that takes place, and then it finally, of course I raise issues, but where there is lawfully money available, I clear the contracts. If there is no money, I'm asking for APC. APC is authority to pre-commit, which means that there is money actually available to commit. Yeah. And do it in accordance with the Public Finance Management Act. Yeah. So yes, I clear contracts, but that's in line with the process, and importantly, where there is money available. If there is no money available, of course, I can every time stop government policy directives, but I structure the contracts in a way that implements the projects, but also protects the interests of the state. Thank you.
You've cleared the contracts, yes, but knowingly you've cleared the contracts when you know that the law, we've breached the law, the act that is already there. You're the chief advisor to the government in terms of legal matters. Why can't you advise the government? Why can't you advise your colleagues that are sitting here not to proceed until you fix this up?
As I've expressed myself, I do that after finding out that there is money lawfully available, which means that if there is authorization in the budget that this is the money for Connect PNG, I clear the contract.
So you really tempt me to jump in again. I want to go away, but keep coming back. Just for clarity, when you are clearing contracts, what are the checklist? What's the checklist that you go through, if I may ask?
The where there is expression of tenders, I'm in interest, and then it comes through technical evaluations, comes through to the National Procurement Board. Well, the process starts with the relevant government agency, Deputy Chairman, and then it ends up with NPC. And if it's an amount that requires cabinet, it comes through me to clear it to cabinet. So I see all the statutory requirements, and importantly, I also ask that is there money available for this purpose? If there is no money, I'm asking the relevant agency to go to the authority APC committee, which is chaired by Treasury. Please waste the money, and I don't clear until I get the APC, and then I send it to cabinet.
And how do you address the question of variances in shortfalls of payment through contractors that the Secretary has alluded to earlier?
Well, as you would know, we structure the payments in a way that not everything is paid at once.
But APCS is authority to pre-commit when there's liquidity in the
Yes.
earmark against contract, correct?
Correct.
So how can you have cash flow problems?
I can answer the question, but
Okay, I'll move on then. I will not labor. The other one is that when Connect PNG contracts are specific, is there the same checklist you go through as well?
yes, Deputy Chair.
So Section 3 and the entire spirit of the second legislation, Connect PNG Funding Act, is intended to override APCs, authority to pre-commit. It's really for that. If you can look at it that way as well, the trust fund operates in that fashion. So there's liquidity in the fund to finance contracts, correct? But you still have a variance.
Deputy Chair, my checking with APC committee, again, I mean, if trust fund is there, the money is there. But it's not here, but my checking with APC chairman is to make sure that there is money. And I don't clear without commitment from the APC committee.
I like what you mentioned, that when, if there is a trust fund, there will be money available. Seated right before us are contractors. Contractors are seated right here, listening to us having this discussion. Most of the contractors now, if I may say, are working on tight budgets to deliver government programs. And here we are been given a report by the Secretary for Works telling us that there is a 5.9 billion program being implemented. They so far have paid 1.8 billion. There is a balance of 4.8 billion yet to be sorted out. And I know there is progressive payments going through. But when you look at a program that 1/5 of the allocated funds or budget for this program, only 1/5 of it has been released for the program to be implemented, and you have another 4/5 yet to be done, yet to be released. And this program we're talking going back 2020, 21. What have the contractors been doing in the last 4 years if we haven't attended to the contractors? You have works managers who are seated with us here from the provinces. No wonder on the floor of Parliament, members are very concerned, very, very concerned that the programs are all going on, program stop, and the contractor cannot go further. And we're saying, contractor, you are useless. Contractor, you are incompetent. I think it comes back to all of us seated here to be responsible, to make this program work. It is a good program, but it will not be a good program if we are not complying to certain requirements of this program. It will appear in tomorrow's papers. The media will flash it out that we haven't complied. And so we have discussed, I'm just looking at the figures that Secretary you have provided, I'm really concerned. I'm very concerned because we have good contractors who are seated here who want to see this program completed. Who wants to see in the next 20 years of our development that Connect PNG has done the right thing. You have spoken about agriculture. You have spoken about tourism. These things are all knitted, tied into the Connect PNG program. We will not make these things happen. The agriculture will not happen. The service lines that are supposed to go to rural areas will not happen if we do not pay the contractors. If we do not pay the contractors. 5 years running, and we have only paid 1.8. The establishment of Connect PNG clearly says that there'll be, how much? 20 billion in how many years? In 20 years. 20 billion kina. And that's 1 billion a year. And 5 years have gone and we've only expended 1.8 billion? Huh?
Sorry, Chair and esteemed member, if you refer to this page 2, section 3 of the Connect PNG Act, subsection 1 says, subject to Department of Treasury's economic and budgetary focus. So I think the catch word there is subject. I think the fiscal space will allow for additional funding to come in to support the implementation of the program. And I think Secretary Treasury is here can make some comment in relation to the funding capacity on how we have been financing the contract. But what you mentioned to us in that particular clause is we've been expecting, as per the law, is 1 billion kina to be allocated annually over the 20 years. And as I mentioned to you in my report, there has been shortfall in allocation of that funding. So hence the payments have been delayed, and that is something that you've raised in your remarks.
Okay. Thank you, secretaries. In view of the discussion now, we have realized that the most important component of the program has not been complied with, and that is the trust fund. And we have to make a ruling that we'll give you a month to go back, Chairman. You make sure that the trust fund has to be established, and you have to inform the committee. In March, we should get a final report presented to the Parliament, informing the Parliament that the program now has been properly been complied with. So you have to give us a guarantee letter by tomorrow that you will have to comply within the next 30 days to make sure that the trust fund is established.
2 weeks.
Thank you.
Yes, Chair, we will comply to that instruction. Tomorrow a letter will be coming to the committee to tell the committee the process that we will start to establish the trust fund in collaboration with Works Department. Thank you.
Chair, if I may, just from Treasury, I think I really appreciate these discussions here, and it really works towards how we can improve the processes and get the project itself delivered. I think it's very important. There's elements of accountability and use of public funds, and therefore, in the absence of this, you will note in the appropriations, there's a volume 3 appropriation which reference to PIP, and under which comes under the Department of Works and Highway. In that particular, you go from a program called PNG Connect, and then you go down the next level, it goes down to the corridors, right? He was in his reference he was making, there's the corridors. And in under those corridors, Highlands corridors, Mamase corridors, then it goes further down to details of those programs that have been roads or whatever it is. It's clearly articulated in the budget volume 3 document. I have a copy of that, and it goes into details to specify where exactly these funds have been paid and how they will be expended. And all of these budget documentations are all linked to IFMS. And all IFMS are all linked to warrants, warrant authority, right? When we issue the warrant authority, it goes first, goes right down to an activity item. And therefore, we can be held account if that item in the budget that we set aside for, if that particular road we said comes under the PNG Connect, we must know where there is it, which corridor is it coming from. And then under that corridor, it will go down to that. So before CFC or whatever that in the IFMS can give generation to a warrant to be printed, this particular should be in there. If not, warrants won't be generated for that purpose. Hence, check will not be raised. Whilst in the process of establishing this mechanism of oversight, we have put that in place. So we're trying to make sure that this budget volume documents are available online, and these are voluntary documents. I've got my officers here, we'll make provisions of that. It goes down into the details of descriptions of those particular programs. If it means to be the road, where is it to? What's the kilometer of that road? He puts a bit of some background into this this particular activity as one. I think number two, I think it's very important for us to appreciate is we do a budget on an annual provision, on an annual basis. What we're talking about here are programs these are multi-year programs. So there's a difference between a value of a contract and what's make appropriation. A value of a contract may go far beyond what we have in the appropriation, because that program is going to be implemented over 3 years or 4 years, the multi-year programs. What we may be able to provide provision for in a year is to have a good understanding of how much that part of those contractors or that part of the road will get implemented in that particular year. We're trying to encourage multi-year budgeting, where agency responsible and those who are responsible must have a clear cash flow. When this part of it will become, does this require a feasibility study? Where is it? How much will that cost for? Again, so this enables us, because we want to avoid buildup of areas. You've mentioned about the buildup of areas. How best can we do that? So in an annual budget, we want to understand which of these under this program right now, Connect PNG, which are the ongoing already. These programs have already started already. How much of which will be now for that allocation of that, and which are the new ones you're gonna bring in? Now, if you have so many that are at the moment happening, say 95 or 97% of it, or say 80% of it, then you're left with 20% where you want to bring a new program in. That has to be a decision made by those who are involved in this process, guide us. And so we're making sure that over time, there is areas already we've recognized it. How do we work towards addressing that? But at the same time, continue this implementation process. So even though we have make appropriation, we want to make sure that. So that's another aspect of it. We're trying to get a hang over it. So I see it as the APC chair. APC chair makes a special reference to that availability of funds. It has to be in the appropriation, reference to that appropriation. We check that and want to make sure that if there's appropriation for it, then it goes through. But at the same time, we are building a registry, so that this registry, we want to connect, work closely with Department of Works and Highway to make sure that we have a program, a registry of ongoing programs, and which are the new ones going to come in, and what are you doing to the others. So these are the kind of things that we're trying to establish on the procurement side from APC, all at the back of not trying to build up more areas in the moment. But it's very important that contractors out there are creating economic activity, they're providing employment. So this is very important that they continue to do that. So I think in closing, Chairman and Deputy Chairman and colleagues, I appreciate. Thank you very much.
Chairman, perhaps I can make just a supplementary comment to my colleague Secretary Treasury. Just looking at the appropriation for the Connect PNG program as per the Connect PNG Implementation and Funding Arrangement Act 2021, that stipulates for a commitment of 5.6%. And as you will note, in terms of the appropriation and also the 1 billion kina annually, and just noting from the appropriation from 2022 to 2025, you know that the appropriation has always been below 1 billion kina. And I think that's the all reasons why we'll have arrears and all this accruing. And I was just looking at the appropriations since 2022 to 2025, and I have some numbers here, which is well below 2022, just about 350 million. 2023, 450 million. These are original appropriations. 24, 600 million, and 25, just 590 million. So well below what the HEC stipulates. So those are the challenges, and as you can see, the appetite, basically appetite on the budget is quite big. And our ability, I manage, or planning manage what you call the CAPEX budget, treasury operational budget, and with a given limited ceiling, it's very, very difficult to get an adequate appropriation as per the HEC to the Connect PNG program. Thank you.
Let's take a break. After.
Sorry, Chairman, if I may also add, I think the need to make the trust more specific is important. Here we are talking about the money, but the priorities have to be built in. We got to stick to the program targets, keeps changing as well. And I think that's where the overcommitment is coming from. So let's, if whatever we need to deliver in the, in this medium term, we need to stick to the game plan and get it done. That will only happen if there is guaranteed funding that's locked in for those priorities. So I think that mismatch needs to be tightened up, and the trust we want to create. Thank you.
Chairman, please. Very valid points, both former Secretary Wax and CEO now and Secretary Planning. You have raised some very valid points. I think it's now the ball is in your courts. The ball is in your courts to make it actually be implemented. People are looking where you may go wrong, finish. And we must put a stop on it now to make it happen. I like what Secretary said. And Secretary, it's like 550 million that was budgeted. If I may say that is for ongoing programs. You have to pay the ongoing programs with that 550 million. New programs coming up for this year. Where will you get the money from? So I'll allow Chairman to conclude that discussion. Chairman, in your hands.
Thank you. Okay. As we have already discussed, the very important issue is that the trust fund has not been created. So before we get the trust fund done, it's an order now that there should not be any more new contracts issued until we get the trust fund created. Let's allow for the current work to progress, the current contracts to progress, and not to issue more new contracts. And that is very, very serious. We have to take note of that. We'll give you until end of, say, 2 weeks or a month to inform the committee that you have established a trust account, that we can proceed with new contracts. And we have to inform the Parliament in March.
The 16th of February, the chairman was suggesting give a dates, but perhaps by the 16th of February.
Is that okay with you, Chairman? Okay.
2 weeks.
Okay, I now adjourn the inquiry to 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock today.